What if the most beautiful chapter of your love story is still waiting to be written, even after you've turned 65? We've often been taught that love is a journey for the young, those nights holding hands under the moonlight, those grand dreams of building a life together. But when your hair has turned silver, when your morning routines have become an essential part of who you are, does love still have a place? Or does it always come with the cost of giving up pieces of yourself? Those quiet mornings reading a book, the garden you tend with care, or the moments you cherish sitting alone by the window. I'm here to tell you that love after 65 doesn't have to look like it used to. It can be a gift, not a burden, but a journey that brings joy, health, and the freedom to be exactly who you are. In the next few minutes, we'll explore a new way to love, one that doesn't force you into old patterns, doesn't demand you share every corner of your life, or change who you are. We'll meet real people who have found deep, meaningful companionship without giving up their personal space. They've learned to open their hearts with the wisdom of experience, and they've discovered that love at this age isn't just possible. It might just be the best medicine for your soul and body. If you're wondering if there's something out there waiting for you, a smile, a conversation, or a moment that makes you feel truly alive, stay with me. Because love never retires. It only grows more authentic, and so can you. Picture yourself sitting at the dinner table, the warm glow of a lamp lighting up your plate, but the room is eerily quiet. It's not that you're completely alone. Maybe your kids still call, friends drop by now and then, or neighbors wave hello. But deep down, you feel like you're fading, as if the world no longer notices you're there. This is the silent loneliness that so many people over 65 experience. It's not about living alone in an empty house. It's the feeling that no one truly sees you anymore. No one notices when you're quieter than usual, when your smile hides a touch of emptiness, or when you turn on the radio just to hear a human voice. Meet Margaret, a 68-year-old woman living in a cozy little home where family photos line the walls and the scent of freshly baked cookies lingers in the air. Margaret isn't alone in the traditional sense. Her children call on weekends, she meets neighbors for coffee, and her days are filled with gardening and reading. But one afternoon as we talked, Margaret gazed out her window, her eyes distant, and said, "I'm not short on people around me, but sometimes I feel like I don't matter anymore. Everyone's caught up in their own lives, and I don't want to be a bother." Her words echo the experience of countless others, a quiet emotional distance, a yearning to be seen, heard, and understood. This kind of loneliness isn't just a feeling, it can take a toll on your health. Studies show that prolonged loneliness increases stress, disrupts sleep, and even weakens your immune system. A lonely heart can leave you feeling more tired, less energized, and disconnected from the things you once loved. But here's the good news. You were born to connect. There's no age limit on the need to share a story, laugh with a friend, or feel the presence of someone who gets your rhythm. Companionship at this age isn't about filling a void. It's about enriching your life. It could be a morning phone call, a walk together in the park, or simply someone who notices you prefer hot tea over coffee. When you find that genuine connection, your world lights up, and your heart grows stronger, in every sense of the word. Starting a new relationship at 66 or 75 can feel like standing before a closed door, unsure if you have the courage to push it open. You've loved before, lived through moments of profound emotion, perhaps years of joy with a lifelong partner, the pain of a divorce, or the quiet comfort of years spent alone. The idea of inviting someone new into your life might seem like a risky leap. The fear is real. Fear of betraying a memory, fear of navigating awkward small talk, or fear that you no longer have the energy to love again. Think of John, a 72-year-old man who lost his wife after 40 years together. In his small kitchen, John still leaves an empty chair at the table, a habit he can't seem to break. He told me, "I still make 2 cups of coffee every morning, even though only one gets drunk. I'm afraid that if I let someone new in, I'll lose what I had with her." John's fear isn't uncommon. Some worry about the effort of getting to know someone new, the repetitive questions about hobbies or past lives. One woman told me, "At this age, I'm done with dating games. I'm too tired to start over." But here's what you need to know. Loving at 65 isn't about starting over from scratch. You're not building a new life or trying to impress anyone. You've lived through decades of experiences, hard-earned lessons, and values that shape who you are today. Love now is about sharing that person with wisdom, clarity, and a heart that cherishes the simple things. It's about inviting someone into your world, not to change it, but to enjoy it together. Imagine meeting someone at a book club, bonding over a favorite novel, or during an early morning walk, watching the sunrise side by side. That's not a fresh start, it's the next chapter, written with confidence and gratitude. And here's the bonus. Opening your heart isn't just joyful, it's good for your health. Research shows that meaningful social connections reduce stress, improve sleep, and even boost heart health. When you take a small step past your fear, like joining a hobby group or smiling at a stranger, you're not just opening the door to companionship, you're opening the door to a healthier, happier version of yourself. Love at this age is a gift you give yourself, not a challenge to overcome. We've often been told that companionship or love comes with a long checklist. Moving in together, sharing finances, syncing every routine, or giving the relationship an official title. But what if I told you that companionship after 65 can be entirely different? More spacious, more freeing, and more authentic? It's a kind of love that doesn't force you to give up your favorite room, change your bedtime, or share every moment. It's companionship designed to honor who you are with all the things you hold dear. Take Sarah and Tom, both 67, who have been together for 5 years but still keep their own homes. Sarah lives in a small apartment with a balcony overflowing with flowers where she loves to read each morning. Tom has a little house with a woodworking shed where he spends hours crafting small treasures. They meet 3 times a week, sometimes for a walk in the park, sometimes for dinner, or even to fumble through a waltz at a community dance class. Sarah laughed as she told me, "We don't need to live together to love each other. I love my home, and he loves his. But when we're together, I feel like I can be myself, and that's the best part." Tom nodded, adding, "I don't want to change her, and she doesn't want to change me. We just want to make each other smile." Sarah and Tom's story shows a new truth. Companionship doesn't have to mean living under one roof to be profound. It can be Saturday morning coffee dates, short trips to watch the sunset, or evening calls to share the day's moments. This kind of companionship offers freedom. You can still tend your garden, listen to classical music, or write in your journal without feeling intruded upon. And it's good for your health too. Experts say maintaining personal space reduces stress and boosts mental well-being, while meaningful connections increase happiness hormones, helping you sleep better and feel more energized. Redefining companionship means asking yourself, what do I want from a relationship now? What makes me feel alive and respected? When you let go of how love is supposed to look, you create space for connections that feel true, where you and another person can write a new story together, one that doesn't need a mold, just joy and resonance. What if loving someone didn't mean giving up the things that make you, you? Too often in life, we're taught that love demands grand sacrifices, changing your habits, shelving your hobbies, or even reshaping yourself to fit someone else's expectations. But at 65, after decades of discovering who you are, boundaries aren't barriers. They're the key to loving authentically. Boundaries are your way of saying, this is me, and I want to be loved as I am. They're how you protect those precious moments, like a quiet morning writing in your journal by the window or an afternoon carefully tending your rose garden, while still opening your heart to a companion. Meet Ellen, a 70-year-old woman who starts her days with a cup of herbal tea and a book of poetry. After retiring, Ellen joined a local library book club and met David, a 73-year-old man with a gentle smile and a passion for storytelling. They quickly became companions, but when David suggested meeting more often, Ellen gently shared, "I cherish my quiet mornings, David. They're where I find my peace." David smiled and nodded. He had his own rituals, afternoons in his small workshop, carving wood into tiny sculptures. They decided to meet a few times a week, for walks or to listen to a favorite classical music piece together. "I don't need to live with him to feel loved," Ellen said. "We love each other by respecting each other's space." Boundaries like Ellen and David's don't push others away. They're the foundation for building a lasting relationship where both people feel safe and respected. When you set boundaries, like keeping your favorite bedtime or reserving a weekend day for something you love, you're not just protecting yourself, you're creating the conditions for love to deepen. There's no resentment, no feeling of being forced, and this is good for your health. Experts say maintaining personal space reduces stress, improves mood, and even supports better sleep. A heart that's at ease, free from pressure, beats stronger, and a free spirit finds joy in small moments. Like watching a sunset with someone without needing to change who you are. Boundaries aren't a rejection of love. They're how you say yes to a relationship that makes you feel whole. They're an invitation for someone to step into your world, but with the respect that your world has been built over decades of experience. When you love with boundaries, you don't just find companionship, you find peace. And that's the best medicine for a healthy, happy life. Does love need a name to be meaningful? Or is it enough to have someone who knows you love sitting on a park bench in the afternoon, or who notices when you need silence without asking why? At 65, many realize that the deepest love doesn't come from labels, boyfriend, girlfriend, or spouse, but from moments when you feel understood, seen, and valued for exactly who you are. Emotional intimacy is sharing a story without fear of judgment, laughing together over a silly memory, or calling someone just to say the sky looks beautiful today. Think of Grace, a 69-year-old woman who met Arthur in a community art class. They started with short chats about mixing paint colors, which turned into weekly walks around a nearby lake. Grace and Arthur never called themselves a couple. They just knew that every Wednesday they'd meet, each with a sandwich in hand, and sit under a tree, talking about books they'd read, dreams they'd once had, or days when their health wasn't great. "I don't need a label," Grace told me, her eyes sparkling. "Arthur knows I like to sit quietly when it rains, and he doesn't push me to talk more." That's all I need. Emotional intimacy, like Grace and Arthur's, is the freest kind of love. It doesn't demand you prove anything or change to meet someone else's expectations. It's when someone remembers you like your tea without sugar or calls to check how you handled a tough day. These moments don't just warm your heart, they're good for your health. Studies show deep emotional connections reduce stress, boost mood, and even lower the risk of depression. A heartfelt conversation can be a natural remedy, helping you sleep better and feel more energized. Imagine walking with a companion, not needing to say much, just feeling their presence, or getting a simple text. "I saw a flower today that reminded me of you." That's emotional intimacy. No rings, no contracts, just two hearts in sync. At this age, after all the ups and downs you've lived through, you know those moments are worth more than any title. Is love only for the young, when hearts race and life is full of grand plans? Or is it after 65 that you're truly ready to love fully, with the wisdom only time can bring? Love at this age isn't a race to hit milestones, marriage, mortgages, raising kids. It's a journey of joy, where you choose connection because you want it, not because you need it. With the years you've lived, you know what truly matters, and you cherish the simple moments: an afternoon reading poetry, a slow dance in the sunset, or a conversation that makes you laugh louder than ever before. Meet Robert, a 71-year-old man who thought love had left him behind after his wife passed away. But then he met Linda at a community poetry night. They started sharing favorite poems, then afternoons sitting together, reading, or simply watching clouds drift by. Robert told me, "When I was young, I wanted a dramatic love. Now I just want someone who makes me laugh, someone I can sit with in silence." Linda, with a radiant smile, added, "We don't need to rush. Every moment we share matters because we know how precious time is." Love after 65 is better because you're free from society's pressures. You don't need to be perfect or impress anyone. You just need to be yourself, scars, lessons, smiles, and all. Your wisdom lets you love with honesty and patience. You treasure the little things: a knowing glance, a warm hand to hold, or a morning when nothing hurts too much. And this isn't just good for your heart, it's good for your health. Experts say meaningful relationships in later years improve heart health, lower stroke risk, and even extend life. A shared smile or a story truly heard can be the best medicine for living healthier and fuller. What's more, at this age, you're not afraid of being alone anymore. You know you're strong enough to live on your own, but you choose connection because it brings joy. That's the difference. When you love without desperation, you love with freedom and gratitude. And that freedom makes love after 65 special, a love that's unhurried, unpressured, and brimming with joy and peace. Take a moment to reflect on the journey we've just taken. Love after 65 isn't a far-off dream or a burden that demands you change who you are. It's a gift, a chance to find joy, connection, and the freedom to be the person you are today. We've talked about the silent loneliness, not of living alone, but of feeling unseen. We've explored how to overcome fear to open your heart, not to start over, but to write a new chapter with wisdom. We've seen that companionship doesn't need to mean living together, that boundaries are how you love while staying true to yourself, and that emotional intimacy, those moments of being heard and understood, is worth more than any label. You've met real people who found joy in simple moments, from a shared cup of tea to a clumsy dance in the sunset. Maybe you saw yourself in their stories. Maybe you recalled a time when your heart longed for a companion, not to fill your life, but to make it brighter. Or maybe you thought your time for love had passed, but today I want to tell you, you're never too late. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're ready for a companionship that's real, a love that honors you, and a journey that makes your heart healthier. Love at this age is about recognition. When you see someone at an art class, a walk, or a quiet corner of the library, and you feel that spark of me too, it's the moment you know you love being yourself around them. And when that happens, don't rush it. Let it unfold like a flower blooming slowly, in safety and freedom. Love after 65 doesn't need milestones or rules. It might be holding hands in the grocery store, a goodnight text, or an afternoon watching clouds drift by. What matters is that you feel love for who you are, and that's the best medicine for a healthy, happy, and fulfilling life. If this message touched you, please like, share, and subscribe to join our community, where we talk about what makes life after 65 meaningful. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next video. And I want to hear from you. In the comments, share your thoughts or the lesson you took from this video. What does uncompromising love look like to you? Also, let us know what you'd like to see in future videos. Your feedback will help us create better, more inspiring content to live healthier and happier together. Thank you for being here. Your love is still out there, maybe in a smile, a hello, or a moment that makes your heart sing. Step forward and embrace it.